on this Tuesday, March 10th of 2026 at 9 minutes after 10. We've got a temperature of 64 degrees. It's overcast as well out there currently in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, 95.7 FM, and 1460 AM WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Patriot Home Care is proud to present Driving in the Fast Lane with Frank Sparks. It's the show that talks about what's happening in the news, locally, regionally, and nationally. There will be guests, and Noah Haswell will have the news at the top and bottom of each hour. And now, here is the host of the show, Frank Sparks.
And good morning and welcome to Driving in the Fast Lane on a Tuesday morning. Today we've got a good show planned for you. We're going to talk a little bit about Iran. We're going to go back and talk a little bit about the President of the United States and him wearing the hat, as we talked about yesterday. Had a couple comments about it, and so we're going to get into that a little bit and get exactly where we are updated. Talk about Paul Skeens coming up and everything else. But to start out our day today, we are going to talk with Brandon Antinopoulos, and Brandon is from Forward RX. And let's say good morning to Brandon. Good morning, Brandon.
Yeah, good morning.
I'm hearing things about you. I don't know if they're good or bad, but from what I understand, we have to play this for you.
Uh-oh.
If it'll come through it. There we go. Is this true, what I'm hearing? Huh?
What's that? What have you been hearing?
I've been hearing that you are now the president of the independent pharmacies of Pennsylvania. Is this true?
Yeah.
Well, tell us about that. That's a huge honor.
Sure.
You look sending me the promo of the show, and I'm like, I can't believe he's not even putting that in there. So I'm just gonna have to get him.
Thanks for bringing that up. So,
yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So I am officially this year the president-elect of the Pennsylvania Pharmacists Association.
Okay.
So we're the association representing all pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, future pharmacists within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So we have a lot of membership that's community pharmacy, independent, and both chain, as well as pharmacists and staff and hospitals. As well as pharmacists that work in physician offices along with prescribers, and if they work for insurance companies and any setting where you could find a pharmacist or someone supporting pharmacy, that's the makeup of our members. So I am officially the president-elect, and then next year I will come into my duty as president of the Pennsylvania Pharmacists Association.
So what do you do as president-elect? What's your duties?
So I am an officer of the board. So we have 4 officers, a president, immediate past president, myself, and then the vice president. So we just assist the CEO of our association on, figuring out ways in which we can grow and service our members, figuring out ways so that pharmacists, technicians, and students can survive and thrive with a pharmacy degree or in that setting in Pennsylvania, advocating for opportunities for pharmacists to, better take care of patients in the communities they serve. So a big part of that's advocating for, new laws or reform. We talk a lot of stuff that we talk about and how I opened Forward RX and why we do that. We advocate for that on a state level and engaging with the legislators. And again, just to try to figure out ways to ensure that every Pennsylvanian has access to a pharmacist in their community, something that we've been losing, a lot lately. So I've been involved ever since I was a student at the University of Pittsburgh School of Pharmacy. Let's say that was probably 15 or 16 years ago, where I became a member based down in Harrisburg. And it's just a great environment. If you've never been a part of, a professional or like trade association or organization, at least once a year we get together at a annual meeting or annual conference, and to be able to, especially when it comes to independent pharmacy, to get together with a group of other independent pharmacy owners and pharmacists just in the different settings, to be able to learn from one another. The saying always goes, pharmacy's a small world, even from pharmacists outside of Pennsylvania. I don't know. It's just a great close-knit community. Even pharmacy owners around here that I've become pretty good friends with and acquaintances with. You would think like having competing businesses, you're always trying to figure out ways to, get an advantage over one or the other. But that's really not the case in pharmacy. Everyone's just kind of on the same team and rooting for one another. So, even some Ron McDermott, who's a owner of the Hometown Pharmacies and other chain of independents in this area. He's on our board of directors of the association, very involved as well. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, I'll be president-elect this year, and I'll be president next year. So just working to ensure that every Pennsylvanian continues to have access to a pharmacist in their community.
So you went to Harrisburg for an event, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Tell us about that. You were closed for a couple of days.
Yeah. So last month we had our annual meeting there. So that's where I got installed as president-elect. And had a meeting of a few hundred other pharmacists and students that came to there. Again, just a current state of affairs, chance to learn from one another, do continuing education courses that pharmacists are required to do. So yeah, we were closed down for those days. We also have some more exciting news.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up next. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
So actually, last week we hired another pharmacist.
All right.
So Renee Richardson joins our team at Forward RX a few days a week. Renee has extensive experience in pharmacy. Mostly with a local grocery store chain that she's worked for close to 2 decades, and both in the dispensing at the pharmacies, overseeing all their clinical service operations for the chain in Pennsylvania, as well as some other community engagement and corporate roles throughout the year. Highly involved in her community, also highly involved in both the Allegheny County Pharmacists Association as well as our state association too. So I've known Renee for probably close to 10 years now.
Oh wow!
In some prior jobs. So just very excited to have her now as part of the team. So it's myself, Renee, and also we have another pharmacist from New Brighton, Terry Lewis, who comes in and helps in every once in a while too. So so here we grow. Forward RX is growing. So looking forward to having Renee on the team. Just her experience and expertise, I think, is just going to make us offer a better service to our communities, as well as allow me an opportunity just to kind of get out there and spread the word more about what we're doing at Forward RX and what makes us different than your typical pharmacy.
So you were talking about, how you have friendship with some of the other owners of pharmacies that are local pharmacies. Why is that? Why are you guys so close? Because you're in competition. So what makes you such a close-knit group of people? Yeah,
I think over the years, you just seen how the state of the local community pharmacy has declined. And it's not so much we're losing business or opportunity from each other, or even from the chains, at that point. Someone said it like there's always going to be people that need medications, and that number continues to grow. So it's not like there's a decline in business of the local brick and mortar pharmacies.
Right. Yeah.
It just seems that over the years, and we talk about this, more and more as insurance companies have gotten involved in dictating the care you receive and where you receive it, trying to force people to go and use their own mail order facilities, or even use their own closed door pharmacies that they have where, they can jack up the prices and pay themselves more than what you would get going to somewhere else. So I think just recognizing how the lack of competition has gone away. I don't know. I think that's what, local owners, where we don't share everything. Like, we're not allowed to share everything.
Right.
That'd be a violation of antitrust. But I think we're all each other's cheerleader. And even when you see a pharmacy close, it's always a sad day. I mean, even whenever Rite Aid closed in New Brighton, it was right next to us. We were, that wasn't good, for any town to lose their pharmacy. And one of the things I want to talk about today is some of the good memories of the local pharmacy. But I mean, there used to be 3 or more pharmacies like in every single town around here. Yeah. And they did a little bit more than just dispensing medications. They really kind of were that, like, at times, like that meeting spot for the community. And I think even as Renee has started with us last week, the recognition when people come in, it kind of feels more like a barbershop than a pharmacy. That people actually want to stay and, chat with you, or even if they're not picking up medications, they just know how accessible you are and they want to come in and chat about things. And so we're there. I think everyone just recognizes anytime we lose a pharmacy in our communities, it's not a good thing.
Well, let me ask you this: with the and then we'll start talking about these pharmacies like we wanted to.
Yep.
With the way things are today.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, Rite Aid shutting down. It seems like there's like a momentum shift, like it's starting to actually shift back to the locally owned pharmacies. People are tired and waiting in lines and drive-throughs and waiting in lines to get their medicine when they could just walk in the shop and, talk to somebody while they're waiting for their medicines if they're getting filled. Do you see that swing happening too?
I think we're certainly starting to. Last year, we lost a lot of pharmacies. I mean, independent and Rite Aids both. And some of the changes with insurances for this year, I think everyone was kind of fearful for those pharmacies that take insurance. But as I tell, pharmacy students or even pharmacists that have any thought of wanting to own their own, like, now is the perfect time, especially in a model like ours where we're not contracted with insurance. We just do a simple markup above our cost. It works very well on generic medications. We post all of our prices. Very easy for us to be transparent of what our prices are and charge and let people shop. And even at times, it's cheaper to get a medication through us than it would be for someone to use their insurance.
Right.
So as insurance reimbursement is kind of decimated the local community pharmacy, as people are getting more and more kind of fed up with how bad the service is that they have to go through at whatever their insurance's pharmacy that they're telling them that they have to use. And it seems like both for folks with Medicare and insurance through work, you're paying higher and higher premiums, but getting less and less coverage every year, and that's going to continue.
Yeah.
So for a pharmacy like ours, I hope we start to see a resurgence of pharmacies in these local communities.
Well, you figure they've hired your copays as well, so you got more out of pocket.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous where it's at this point.
Yeah, the people receiving the care are paying more than they ever have, and the people providing the care are getting reimbursed less and less every single year. So, simple math would tell you that all that money gets stuck somewhere in the middle. There's at least a dozen middlemen in between when the manufacturer makes a drug to whenever you pick up the medication at the pharmacy. So, with our model, that's why we've decided to eliminate as many of the middlemen as possible and, bring those savings directly to you at the counter.
Well, what else is cool, and I can speak for personal period, whatever you want to call it, personal, whatever you want to call it. It's escaping my head today. But anyway, experience, that's the word I was looking for. But so even not only did you reduce the cost for me by half, but then you also found out that I was paying for 2 medicines, and they actually made a combined medicine of the 2 I do. So you took the time to look through my file and everything and do whatever you had to. And then, so I actually ended up saving more than half of what I was paying on my normal medicine just by using Forward RX.
Yeah. So, and that's one of the things that I take pride in. And I think any pharmacist in any setting would love to do. It's just in some of those settings, especially in the chain settings, it just becomes much harder to do. Again, like I said, like the reimbursement on a lot of things is just not where it needs to be to appropriately pay a pharmacy to have its staff to provide those services. So whenever they don't have enough staff, it's just really lick, stick, pour. Try to count the medications as fast as possible. Try to make as little as mistakes as possible, which is just a recipe for disaster, and that's a poor experience at the counter. So for our model, where again we cut out the middlemen, we make enough so that we're covering our overhead, that we're not losing money like other places are, but we're also not price gouging people, and it allows us that opportunity to do what we went to school for, which is look out for your best interest and patient's best interest, and kind of like how things were back in pharmacy
I was gonna say, that's
years
old
ago.
school pharmacy.
Yeah.
Well, pharmacies back in the old days were there was so much more, like you said, than the pharmacy. It was kind of like a hangout place.
Yep.
One of the big things that was in a couple of the pharmacies, well, probably more than a couple throughout the area, was the fountain drinks.
Yes.
Remember, you go in and get the old-fashioned soda. They had the counter, and you pull up to that. So that was something different.
There was, and I know because, my dad, he's, I think, out of pharmacy school. He started working at Puritan Drugstore in New Brighton on the main street there. And
Remember going in the back door and you would, then the fountain was right there.
Yeah, so they had a fountain. And I have, let's see, I have snapshots of memories of being in there. I mean, I was little. So I basically have been raised in a pharmacy, one or the other. And then after that, he worked at Wolf's Pharmacy. Again, another one in New Brighton. The building's not there anymore. It's actually the Rite Aid drive-through section of the parking lot is where that was.
Okay.
But yeah, after Puritan, he worked there, and I do remember, if there was no babysitter or school was canceled, I was just hanging out at the pharmacy. We had the comic book section in the front there.
Right, yeah.
So I would just sit in the front, and Joe Russo was the owner, and they were cool with me. Just kind of, I would sit at the front, read the comic books, and wave to people as they came in there. And again, it was just all good memories. You really didn't have the state of how things were. Or like they are now in many places, where it just seems to be a point of frustration and friction at the pharmacy counter. That wasn't how pharmacy was back then, and so I'm hoping we can get back to that. So, but that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today.
Okay.
I usually come in and I talk about how bad things are in the industry and how we're trying to fix it and what we can do. But I took my son and a couple of his friends, and my wife took him for his birthday to a roller rink out in Neville Island. Okay. And being in there, it brought me back to Blazers back in the day in Beaver Falls. Oh, yeah, I remember that. And just the things that we had as kids, the good memories, and it made me think about pharmacy too. So I figure for today, we can just kind of reminisce about the good times of pharmacies in the area in Beaver County. And if anyone wants to call in and share their memories too, absolutely, please do, because we're not, there's even though we've lost a few good ones. Again, I remember even Beaver Falls. I think Beaver Falls at one time had like 5 pharmacies on the main street, and now it's just down to one, the Beaver Falls Health Mart Pharmacy with Philip down there. And but yeah, so yeah, I figured today we're just going to talk about good old-fashioned memories of what the pharmacy used to be, and that's cool. If anyone wants to call in and share their memories, please do.
Yeah, you brought up Blazers, and for me, I'm old enough. It used to be called Homewood Roller Rink before it was Blazers.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't remember Homewood Roller Rink, but I remember Blazers, and that was the spot. There was 2 places you wanted to have a birthday party at. It was either the Sunrise Pool.
Oh, yeah.
Or it was Blazers, yeah.
There wasn't a Sunrise Pool when I was a kid, unfortunately. Well, I guess there was. I mean, 1972 was when I was in 2nd grade. I was in the first 2nd grade class in New Brighton, so I would have been new then. But I remember as a kid going to Wolf's, because that's where my parents would always go, and I had allergies. Yeah. So, I was on like medicine after medicine after medicine for those different allergies and stuff. So, yeah, and we used to always go down there. Your dad would be behind the counter, and that's how my mom would keep us busy. Go over there and look at the magazines. That was how she kept us busy. So, and just kind of, and there was always those small little tidbits and trinkets, and I call them impulse buys that, were at the register that you could maybe go home with a little something if you were good while mom was waiting for your medicine,
Oh yeah. And we had those even at, my family opened Pete's Apothecary Drugs in 97, and then in 2008 changed to Hometown Apothecary Drugs, but it was still in that same location. They're actually right next door to where we are now.
Derek's place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Tri-State Sporting
Tri-State
Arms.
Sporting Goods is where the old pharmacy used to be.
Okay.
And a lot of great folks that did kind of like our front windows and the merchandise in there. Like you said, some of those kind of like gifts and impulse buys that would have there. And again, stuff that they don't teach you in pharmacy school now, and especially if you want to open your own, kind of like figuring out things that the community wants or the community needs and what to offer. And I think every pharmacist, especially now, dreams about like wanting to have their pharmacy that they can offer like a soda fountain. The only one I know of, and I'm sure that there's probably others, but Heber's Pharmacy, which is Heber's is a compounding pharmacy in Pittsburgh.
Right.
That used to be in Oakland, but they recently moved into the Strip District. So kind of that section of the Strip District, the old terminal where they kind of redid everything that's in there. And actually Rosemary, the owner of it, she's actually Freedom High School alum. Lives in
cool.
Freedom. Yeah,
right.
and she owns it now. And she managed to find an old soda fountain counter and put a soda fountain in there. So there's been a couple times that we go to Pittsburgh just for the milkshakes.
I
there
think
in
you
the
might be
pharmacy.
onto something here, Brandon. You know that.
My front end doesn't have enough space for.
You could
for
find
a
you another
soda
front end
fountain.
somewhere. Isn't the old Puritan still there? Now that'd be cool. Isn't it? The shoe store was in there for a while?
Yes. Yeah.
And then was the Chinese place in there too?
It was definitely that block.
Okay.
It was definitely
in that area. I think
was-
because it has that old distinctive red on the front. Remember? On the building.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
well,
No. But I mean, at least now when it comes to the milkshakes, I always refer people to Treasure Box.
There you go.
Down there. Yeah. They make some pretty good stuff.
Maybe you could team up and you could put an old school one in there.
Yeah, even the penny candy. We used to have penny candy down
yeah.
at Pete's Apothecary and Hometown Apothecary. And even, whenever I was a teenager, I don't know. I think that's another thing when you're a family business. I don't know what the labor laws were, if we could work or not work.
Anyways.
We were up there, and that's what I do, count out the penny candy for other kids that were coming in. We had the slush machine like in the front. And that was my favorite job, is tasting that stuff, make sure it was working.
Yeah, I was
going
to say with penny candy, was it one for you, two for me, one for you, two?
Yeah, exactly.
Dad's got his head turned. Nah, he didn't see that. So
that's another thing, the past that pharmacies had, the soda fountain, the penny candy, and you go into places now, you don't really have that. So all good memories.
Absolutely. All right, Noah Haswell is going to be up to do news here in a minute. And we'll have more. We want to know what was your favorite pharmacy, your memories. We got a whole list of them here we're going to go through after the news with Noah Haswell. Phone lines will be open at 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. And they'll be right up here in a moment.
Are you a fan of the historic high school sports history that we have in Beaver County? Beaver County Radio and the Fry Transportation Group are proud to introduce Way Back When. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m., Beaver County Radio will rebroadcast a classic high school game in its entirety. You'll hear the call of famous Beaver County Radio sports broadcasters from the past and present as they take you way back when. Tune in this Sunday, March 15th at 8 p.m. when we go way back to the 2006 Boys Quigley Classic All-Star Game. Way Back When is presented by the Fry Transportation Group and brought to you by Falcone's Moon Township Ford, The Hangar, and Beaver County Radio.
Local programming controlled by local people. It's The Beaver, 95.7 FM and 1460 AM WMBA. Coming to you live from the St. Barnabas Control Studio in Brighton Township.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester. Tune in for Spotlight on Seniors every Sunday at 11 a.m. Host Valerie McKelvey will highlight what's important to the seniors of Beaver County. Spotlight on Seniors is brought to you by the Beaver County Office on Aging and beavercountyradio.com.
Local programming controlled by local people. It's The Beaver, 95.7 FM and 1460 AM WMBA. Coming to you live from the St. Barnabas Control Studio in Brighton Township.
Hassler helps Blaney hold on for victory. I'm Susie Armstrong. The story next on NASCAR Today.
This season, it's on.
Bring it home, champ.
On point, on fire, and sometimes on purpose.
No way!
The bumping, banging, edge of your seat, blinking you miss it excitement only found here.
They're both in the wall!
One lap, one race, one NASCAR weekend at a time.
Hell yeah, boys!
Don't miss the NASCAR Cup Series, brought to you by Freeway Insurance at Las Vegas. Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
For over 3 decades, Racing Electronics has been the #1 choice for scanners, headsets, and race day communication. Racing Electronics delivers the ultimate fan experience to the ultimate NASCAR fan. Hear uncensored communication from every team in the race with a Racing Electronics scanner, or tune in to the live MRN radio broadcast and feel every moment as it happens. Learn more at racingelectronics.com. Be race ready, be RE equipped. Ryan Blaney fought through early adversity to claim victory in Sunday's NASCAR Cup Series clash at Phoenix Raceway. Blaney's Team Penske crew chief, Jonathan Hassler, helped guide him from the rear of the field to the front twice after a pair of pit stop issues. Eventually taking the lead and holding on for the win, Hassler explained what makes the 12 drivers so good in the Valley of the Sun.
I think it's a track where, there are a lot of different grooves that could come into play. He's really good at being able to make passes when a lot of guys can't. And I think he's really good about making sure his car will run fast in places that other guys can't. And that gives him clean air and allows him to make a lot of passes.
I'm Susie Armstrong. This is NASCAR Today on the Motor Racing Network.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning. On this Tuesday, March 10th of 2026, we will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. Lincoln Park Performing Arts Charter School graduate Ashley Marina got all 3 of the coaches on the NBC reality singing competition show The Voice Battle of Champions to turn their chairs around as she sung in the blind auditions for the show last night. As she made it onto the show, the 18-year-old barista from Pittsburgh performed an original song called Tonight I Wanna Cry. Marina had to choose her coach for the show between Maroon 5's lead singer Adam Levine, the season 1 winner of American Idol, and singer Kelly Clarkson, or singer John Legend, who is an EGOT winner. Marina picked Legend, who became an EGOT by winning the 4 major awards for performing arts in the United States, which are the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony, to be her coach for this season of The Voice, which is filmed at Universal Studios in Hollywood, California. An investigation is underway after the body of 56-year-old Donald Wilson was found in the Monongahela River on Sunday afternoon. The body was discovered behind a tugboat close to the baseball field in West Elizabeth, which is owned by John's Towing Service here in Beaver County. Allegheny County Police, who were called in to assist Elizabeth Township Police, believe that the man was working on a boat in the area. KDKA-TV reached out to the company that owns the boat. A representative said they didn't know how Wilson fell into the river, but believed this was a tragic accident. Elizabeth Borough's fire chief told KDKA-TV that the borough's swift water rescue team recovered Wilson's body around 3:30 on Sunday afternoon. Allegheny County Police state that a full investigation is pending the results of the medical examiner's report. Pennsylvania State Police in Pittsburgh reported via release today that 57-year-old Angela Steedley of McKees Rocks was arrested for trespassing in Pittsburgh on the afternoon of February 5, 2026. At 3:14 p.m., Steedley previously trespassed on I-279 South and was arrested for doing that and specifically panhandling on the interstate. According to police, Steedley was taken forthwith on outstanding criminal warrant and was lodged in the Allegheny County Jail to await arraignment. Pennsylvania Secretary of Education Dr. Carrie Rowe visited a Butler Area School District elementary school yesterday to honor a 31-year bus driver and paraprofessional that was recently recognized as a 2026 Pennsylvania Recognizing Inspiring School Employees, or RISE Award honoree, Kimberly Locke Heiser, or Miss Kim as she is known by the students, staff, and community of her district, has built a legacy of over 30 years of making sure that her students feel safe, seen, and loved during their travels to and from school each day. And Steelers running back Kenneth Gainwell may be gone, but they found his replacement pretty quickly. According to a report from NFL Network yesterday, the Steelers are signing former Carolina Panthers standout running back Rico Dowdle to a 2-year, $12.25 million deal. Dowdle led the Panthers with 1,076 rushing yards in 2025, giving him some consecutive 1,000-yard seasons between Carolina and the Dallas Cowboys. Dowdle, who went undrafted out of South Carolina, also has chemistry with new Steelers head coach Mike McCarthy, who coached Dowdle when he was a member of the Dallas Cowboys from 2020 to 2024.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Today it'll be mostly cloudy with a chance of rain, followed by thunderstorms after midnight. We'll see highs of 70 and lows of 62. And tomorrow look for gusty winds with rain and thunderstorms. We'll see a daytime high around 73 degrees, but after midnight expect a wintry mix as we drop down to lows of 33. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
Getting involved with card games can be risky. Playing the wrong card can cost you dearly, and pretty soon you will find yourself broke and busted. This is Kalen from Freedom United Federal Credit Union, and I'm talking about the riskiest card game of all, using high-rate cards from other institutions and stores. If you've been shuffling your deck for too long, and the bluffing you're doing with your own finances is beginning to look like it's time to fold, visit Freedom United Federal Credit Union and get a new deal on a low fixed-rate Visa card. Through March 31st, get a low fixed 6.99% interest rate on all new Visa balance transfers with approved credit. Get back in the game. Put a little freedom in your future with a 6.99% Visa balance transfer. Special now available through the end of the month. Click freedomunitedfcu.com. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
On this Tuesday, March 10th of 2026 at 41 minutes after 10, we've got a temperature of 64 degrees and it's overcast out there currently in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, 95.7 FM, and 1460 AM WMBA. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
So I'm going to make your day real quick, okay?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay,
what's your lead story today?
Ashley Marina is
Look who commented on Facebook on your studio on your post.
Oh, nice. So she made it to the battle rounds.
Well, she commented on your story, so she's thanking you for putting it up there.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, yeah.
Great job.
Yeah. So there you go. So you can put thank you with hearts.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I think that's since I've been watching The Voice, I don't think anybody that close to the area that I live in has ever been on there. I've said the closest I've known is the Pittsburgh native Chris Jameson that was on there years ago, and yeah, so let's see if she can make it past the battle rounds. And the coaches do have a steal and a save. I actually forgot to mention that on Scott's show. So if she does lose, the battle, she still has a chance. But that's of course up to Adam Levine, Kelly Clarkson, and her coach John Legend.
All right. Well, there you go. You got a fan.
You're
Ashley,
welcome.
Ashley's happy you posted it for her. So there you go.
You're welcome.
All right. I know we'll be back 11 o'clock with more news. Visiting here in hour number 1 with Brandon Antinopoulos from Ford RX. Kind of looking at it. For some reason, your camera went dark. like real dark. So I got to lighten it up as we're talking here. But yeah, we're talking about old school pharmacies. Brandon's from Ford RX. And, the old school coming back. Many, and we want to hear from you, 724-774-1888 and 843-1888. Many of the old school pharmacies, what's your memories? My family exclusively used Wolf's. Once in a great while, we went to Puritan, but my mom and dad were always loyal. So when they went somewhere, they went somewhere. Yeah. And that's what they did. So, but yeah, lots of great memories as kids of going there as well. So, all right, ready to jump out to the phone lines?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Good morning on Beaver County Radio.
Hi, Frank.
Hey, what's up, Bill?
Oh, same old. You're bringing up all the old good stuff. Puritan, they were real popular too. Makeup. They had makeup.
Oh, really? I did hear
that.
Yeah,
lots of makeup.
Okay.
all your colognes and perfumes.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had a little toy L, we called it, because Five and Dime was next door.
Right.
They didn't need that, but this one you probably won't remember. Old TVs had the tubes.
Yeah.
They had a tube tester.
Oh, okay.
Back by the phone booth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you pull your tube that wasn't glowing, test it. They had all the different slots. There was a flat table. You tested it. You knew it was poor because it wasn't glowing. Open the cabinets, match up your tube, and bring out.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like a one-stop for everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then the snack bar, that sometimes there wasn't a seat.
Yeah, I
I
remember
had to
that.
bring that up because I thought, you know what, I bet they don't know about that. Because I tell people, and they go, no way. I said, I'm telling you, man. Me and my dad did it all the time.
That's cool. So,
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is that the only one you went to was Puritan? Did you ever go to any of the other pharmacies?
Wolves, I forget what they had, a handful of stuff that you did. You know what I mean? Like that Puritan didn't have.
What was it Wolf's that had the, remember the duck pin bowling was upstairs? Was that upstairs at Wolf's?
Oh, Toothies.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I set duck pins up there. That was a hard job for
Where,
me.
was that above Wolf's or was that above another building?
I'm trying to think.
I just remember it being
No,
upstairs.
I think
thought
it was above Wolf's.
That's what I
Because there
thought.
was a door there.
Yeah,
right
on the
beside,
okay.
and we had to go upstairs.
So you
There
learned
was
something
another
today.
door
Yeah.
beside that.
Okay.
Something like that. I think it was mainly kids' clothes. I think.
Yeah, was it Tufik George ran it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big George.
He was Rand is laughing. He probably already knew Tufik. Tufik George was big. The News Tribune newspaper.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
He was a big person within the News Tribune. Like he was my distribution guy when I was a kid delivering newspapers.
There you go. I had that job with him too. He said, "You want to set duck pins?" Yeah, he set me up all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So,
they were. Thank goodness you didn't do. He had 4 lanes were 10 pins,
right.
and kids couldn't do that one.
Right.
You had to be high school and pretty fit. They were heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the ducks, you usually had. Best way you could make money is you had double lanes.
Okay.
You set up 2 lanes. Oh yeah, I forgot all about him.
There you go. So all
Yeah,
right.
he suckered me twice.
Delivered papers and set up pins. What do you give you
Yeah. Well, my mom graduated high school with him.
Okay.
I told her the same thing.
All right.
I said, he set me up twice.
Yeah.
Man.
I knew Tufik my whole life. Good guy.
Yep, he was.
All right, Bill.
All right.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks.
All
All right, bye. Yeah, so you need to learn something new today. You didn't know that, huh?
No, yeah.
I remember that as a
bowling
kid.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh, see that? Yeah, and that's again, exactly what I wanted to, talk about this
Right.
subject. And like you said, I hope we get back to that. And I think with, unfortunately, is tough and as bad things are getting in healthcare. I think when a model like ours, and hopefully there's more pharmacies that are going to open that kind of do what we do. I think it's just going to be good for everyone around. And you mentioned the tube tester.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
No,
That's
but
why.
but that's what these places did. And we always try to think of like what's not happening in the town that we're in, and try to figure out a way that we can offer something that people need, even if it has nothing to do with healthcare. And it's kind of like where you had, the pharmacies, you said you had the 5 and 10,
right.
And the hardware stores. It was almost like between those and maybe some others, like your needs were covered.
Yeah.
Is all too. So that's cool. I do not remember the tube tester, but when he mentioned the makeup and the cologne and perfumes, I do recall some people talking about the selection that they had there at Puritan.
That was pretty cool. So, all right, let's jump back out to the phone line. Good morning, you're on Beaver County Radio.
Hi, Frank.
Hey, Howie, what's up, buddy?
Well, do you remember Rouse's drugstore in Beaver?
I do. Yep.
Yeah.
So what was
I think
special
there were-
about that one for you, Howie?
Well, that's where I always dealt at, and my mom always dealt there too before me.
Okay.
And Ted Rouse was also mixed up in football at Beaver.
Really? Okay. I
Oh,
didn't know
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Where was Rouse's? That's one I'm not. I remember Health City in Beaver. Where was Rouse's?
Right next door to the candy store.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now on the list when I was looking them up, we got Beaver Drugstore. There was Reed's Drugstore in Beaver, and then a Schaffner Pharmacy in Beaver too. Which was Schaffner was late 20th century. They said it was an independent as well.
Well, Rouse's, I think there were 3 generations of Rouse's was in there.
Okay.
Before it closed up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, buddy. Appreciate you sharing.
Okay, Frank. Have a good day.
All right, you do the same, Howie. Yeah, it's kind of cool to hear, and there's so many of them I'm sure that we forget about I know for a long time, I just remember the logo. What was it? It was on the main street of Beaver Falls, the Medicine Stop.
Yes,
he was there for a long time.
Yeah.
So that was for quite some time. He was there. What other ones? Anything else that you can?
Yeah, I remember my dad. He worked a couple times at that Health City that was in Beaver.
All right.
And if I recall correctly, I think Yama's there now where that was, or it was almost set up where they had 2 buildings that you walked in between. And I always remember around Halloween time, that's where I got excited when he was there, because they had the costumes or other Halloween decorations or displays that you would go into there. Medicine Stop was there in Beaver Falls, and you had that one. You had the Corner Drug. You had College Hill Pharmacy at the time. That was up there too. But you still got some around here that are kind of like those, what you would think about the old school look, especially in Aliquippa. Aliquippa has a medicine shop.
I'd say the E-Man's down there.
Yeah. And then you got Manny's down still on Franklin Avenue with Hoffman's drugstore. It's wild. It was actually that series that they were filming around here, that Apple TV series. Yeah. So they actually stopped into our pharmacy to take pictures of the place, because apparently there's going to be a scene that happens in a pharmacy where the detective is talking to the pharmacist about whatever investigation is going on.
They heard you were the president. That's the problem. They said, we got to get in here.
But from what I understand, it sounds like there is going to be, I don't know which pharmacy, but it sounds like there's going to be some Beaver County pharmacy that this takes place in. But yeah, they came and they took a look at ours, took some pictures, and
that's cool.
There was another one in Pittsburgh they were going to use that I know the owner of, but he said the schedules didn't line up, and they said that they had a Beaver County pharmacy that they were going to use. So instantly he called me up and he was like, "Why are you taking my movie or my TV production crew?" Jokingly, but but again, pharmacy's a small world. Mm-hmm. We're all rooting for each other. But that's whenever I thought about that series, I thought oh man, Hoffman's that would be the perfect scene or setup for that.
Now, didn't he used to work at Puritan before he went out on his own?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so Harry Davis and their family now has the Health Mart pharmacies in the area, and they got quite a few too, and they're still down there in New Brighton. Yeah, so Harry Davis, he was at Puritan, and he was there the time that whenever my dad started, and I believe it was shortly after that where he had started his own with Leon Pinella, and I'm not sure if there was another one, but that's when they started Brighton Pharmacy.
Right, yeah.
And not in the location where it's at now. So they were, from what I remember, it was behind Jackson's Golf.
Yeah.
Where Totegrity is.
Yes.
It was on that block.
There was a building there, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then
I think it was the old New Brighton fire station at one point in time.
Yeah. And then from there they had the new location that they opened.
Mm-hmm.
That's there on Fifth Avenue now. And even, I run into his sons every once in a while.
I forgot that building was there. You said something.
Yeah. And again, we ran into each other at Craig's Hardware store a few weeks back. I think I was getting a mop to do the salt, and he was looking at stuff, and we're sitting there talking, just asking how's it going with each other, and again, it's competing businesses, but you care about each other, because I think you care about the community you serve and the people, and we don't have that as much anymore. Definitely, hopefully independent. My heart's with the independents to try to make sure that they stay around as long as possible. But I hope we get back to a point where people get to experience that, especially younger generation. Too easily, I think it'll be used to mail order pharmacy or Amazon pharmacy. Right. But whenever you start to have questions, it was always good to have that local pharmacist that you could just walk into and ask your questions. Yep. And that accessibility.
So, all right, let's jump back out to the phone line. Good morning, you're on Beaver County Radio. Good morning, you're on.
Hello, Frank.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, on the corner of Adams Street and New York Avenue was Rouse's Drugstore 30, 40 years, easy.
Okay.
In Rochester.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then across the street, it's a sign company now. They make signs for different things. Was Kretschmeyer's Bakery.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
And then on the main street of Rochester was Gordon Pharmacy.
Okay.
Yeah, and your cousin lived 2 doors from Rouse's Drugstore.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
so my family was, back in the day, used to run the Hilltop. The original Hilltop.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Aunt Mary was the head cook, and my Uncle Danny was the head bartender there. So Colleen was their last name.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and since he was 10 years old, what was his nickname?
I don't know. I just call him Uncle Danny.
No, not Dan.
Who's that?
Your cousin.
Which one?
Their son.
Oh, I know this too. You have to tell me.
He was 10 years old, probably.
Darwin's his name, but I can't remember his nickname. Oh. Go ahead.
Across the street was Pedaline's store.
Okay.
Grocery store.
All right.
And they sponsored Little League, and he had a nickname, Rocky.
Rocky, okay.
Yeah, but what was your cousin's nickname? And no one called him by his real name.
I have no idea. Because we just always
Mom
called
and
him.
Dad may have.
We always just called him Dar, so I don't know.
Yeah.
What was it?
And the pool room was next to...
He could tell me, is he?
The pool room was next to the bar.
Okay.
What was the name of the bar before it was Hilltop?
I have no clue. I just always knew it was a Hilltop when I was a kid.
And when they tore the pool room down, the guy that was one of the co-owners split with them and went up to Deer Lane Grill.
Okay.
But they had the pool room. It was an old wooden house. There were 5 pool tables in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But what was your cousin's nickname?
I'm waiting for you to tell me because I don't know. You're going to make me call Darwin, aren't you?
I still see him once in a while.
Okay. You're going to make me call him and ask him, aren't you? You got it? What was it? Tell me. You got to hide it from me. What's that, was it?
Eagle.
Eagle. Okay. All right. I'm going to call him that next time I see him. I see him walking all the time.
Everyone called him that.
Okay.
And him and his sisters, they went to St. Cecilia's school.
I just talked to Helen the other day. She's a character. So, all right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, see you.
All right, have a great day. Small world, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It
No,
just
I
goes
love
around,
it.
yeah.
I love
So,
it.
yeah.
Even we had, it was late 90s, early 2000s. We also had, the pharmacy in Monaca for a period of time on the main street there. And before then, I believe it was Callaghan's Pharmacy, which I think there was a Callaghan's in Monaca, and there might have been one in Beaver Falls, too.
Yeah, some of these on this list I never even heard of. Whitlaw and Eccles Drugstore, Tress's Drugstore, Stuckey's.
Wilson's, I think I've heard of. The one in New Brighton on the corner where it was still on the same block that we're at, but it's like the old bank building, and there's some offices that are in there now.
Yeah, down where Century National Bank was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do remember, and even a pharmacist friend of mine up in Butler who likes to see some historical photos, and he sent one to me where I believe it was on that corner there where you could see Wilson's drugstore that used to be there in New Brighton. But that's the one that I saw the picture of. But yeah,
that's cool. All right. Well, in the last couple minutes we have, you want to tell everybody about Forward RX and why they should give you a call?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
if you want to again experience what the feel of the pharmacy used to be like, and hopefully what I hope we get back to. Forward RX Pharmacy. We are in New Brighton on the main street, so 809 3rd Avenue, right next to where the old Rite Aid used to be. Which like we said, that parking lot there is where Wolf's Pharmacy used to be, and next door to us, Tri-State Sporting Arms, that's where Pete's Apothecary and Hometown Apothecary Drugs, my family's pharmacy growing up, used to be. So we're right there. All of our prices are posted online, all the information. So if you want to check a price on any of your medications, we show you what our cost is along with our markups. So very transparent on all of our prices. You can either go to our website, fwdrx.com, to get a price quote, or if you just want to call us at 724-246-6257, you can do that, or stop on in and say hello. And either myself or our new pharmacist, Renee, will be there, or Terry, who helps us out also.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you next month.
Yeah, we'll see you next month. Thanks
All right.
again. And
All
thanks
right.
everyone for calling in.
Made it fun.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Coming up next is Town Hall News, followed by local news here on Beaver County Radio.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by